ban ai jinggershan ki khynnah skul khamtam ki bawan nak long iing ka duna ha ka yo ka kot katnat puli puthi jok sarkar jilla ni ka sngi kala pelaj pajba ya ka standard operating procedure SOP bat ka website ban petrai kam ya ka section 12 bracket iway bracket C jong ka right to education act Hajar khandai ya kani ke SOP bat ka website la pelaj pajba da ulat ka jela CH Vijay Shankar ha ka jingdon lang u commissioner secretary katnat puli puthi u Vijay Kumar Mantri u Jagdish Chelani state project director jongka semam samagra shiksha nang taki officer bat kiway habakren hakni kasing na kaliang u Vijay Kumar Mantri lapan pao bakani ke SOP kanirap sibun ki khynnah skul ki bawan nakalongying ki baduna ha kayo kakot ulai turo bak sarkar klai jingkai ai klem jing siu hadu khat saus nem karta kani kan traikam habaro ki skul kan thup ik skul Shimet ru ha ka bak sarkar kan bhah kerpang na ka banta arpusan persen kaleng ulat ke jela habakran negni sing ulai ko blai katnat puli peti kabala pej na ka banta ka jing don kam jo ki khynnah ki bawan nakalongying long sem ka buduna ha kayo kakon ka jing bhah banta jo sarkar kerpang na ka banta jongki kanirap sibun badbun kikmi kikpa kinla ban pha ki khun ki kji ba kan lek ban peteng ya ka jing puli ka jongki
Constitution of India came into effect in January 26, 1950. The Article 45, it's a part of the directive principles of state policy. It says that the state shall endeavour to provide within a period of 10 years from the commencement of this Constitution for free and compulsory education of all children until they complete the age of 14 years. This it came into force in 1950. But it has taken almost 60 years for this to come into effect. In this Article 45 was replaced by Article 21A in 2002. Next. In 2002, with the 86th Constitutional Amendment, this Article 45 was replaced with Article 21A, where we have given right to education. It says the state shall now. Earlier it was state shall endeavour, but now it is converted to state shall provide free and compulsory education to all children of the age of 6 to 14 years in a manner as the state may by law determine. So earlier it was up to 14 years. Now we have from before 6, but from the age of 6 to 14 years, which is roughly class 1 to class 8. Next slide. This is another important amendment to the Constitution, sir. It happened in 93rd Constitutional Amendment, which is important for 12(1)(c). It was introduced in 2005, where this provision has empowered the state to make special provisions, including reservation for socially and economically backward classes, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes in education institutions. After this, we have introduced reservation in education institutions. So this background is very useful for 12(1)(c). Another aspect of change after our independence is the rise of private unaided schools. Before independence, it was purely government institutions they were dominating, and slowly there is a rise of private institutions. Private schools have come up, and then the parents, the students started preferring. The preference has gone towards shifted towards private schools, and of course the private schools are coming with huge amount of fees. And that has created a big gap in the social and economical divide has become very clear. So, if we have to if we have to establish inclusive education and the right to education, there is a situation where we have to go beyond government schools. Only when we enter the private schools, the right to education can be effectively implemented. Physical punishment cannot even inflict mental harassment, and while admitting the children, you cannot do interview, you cannot conduct even profile the parents based on their educational qualification, based on their financial background. The profiling is banned. So the background is this, that the rationale is that all the children are equal, and only when they get admission, when the environment is similar, perhaps they will have an opportunity. So profiling of the children or parents is not allowed under this. Quality of standards, this is another important aspect of RTE, where it has established the quality of standards for the teachers, for infrastructure, for the number of teachers that has to be there. So this standard is mentioned, so only when the standard is allowed, the school can continue to function, otherwise the government can take action against the school. Next. So coming to the section 12 of the RTE Act. Section 12, there are three parts. We will talk about only the C, but the first part is basically we have to provide free admission to all the children in the government schools. That's 12.1. 12.1A. 12.1B is in the aided schools. They have to reserve 25% free of cost. 12.1C. 12.1C talks about unaided schools, unaided private schools, where we have to reserve 25% seats, and they have to provide 25% seats to weaker section and also disadvantaged group children in the neighborhood, and provide free and compulsory elementary education. Next. So the core mandate of this section 12.1C is that private unaided non-minority schools must reserve a minimum 25% of their entry-level seats for children of economically weaker section and disadvantaged group. So these non-minority schools have been added later parts. When Supreme Court, there was a Supreme Court case, all the private schools have approached Supreme Court saying that we can't reserve 25% and provide free education because we are hand to mouth. So they have made many of these things. Then with that, non-minority schools have been exempted. And also the another change that has happened, that government has agreed to sponsor this 25% children. So that's where we next. So after, when it came to enforce in 2010, in 2011, our Meghalaya government has enacted the rules, drafted its rules. So it has clearly provided for 12.1C, especially for 12.1C. These are very, very important for us. It says that the children admitted under this section shall not be segregated from other children. Other rich children, they are poor children, you cannot segregate them in the classroom. You cannot conduct separate classes for them in separate timings and separate place. They have to be integrated with the regular students, so you cannot separate them in any form. And the second part says, shall not be discriminated from the rest of the children in any manner pertaining to their entertainments or facilities like textbooks, uniform, literary, ICT facilities, extracurricular sports. Extracurricular activities, you cannot separate them. So they should not know that they are separate, they are reserved candidates 25%. Poor children paid by the government. So that discrimination should not happen. This is a very important rule that we got in 2011. Sir. Next. So this is a battle. Yeah. Next. Here, sir. Why we have delayed so much? Like in 2011 we had the rules, but now we are 2025. After 14 years we are doing, because the demand also is one thing that we have to see. If you see the aided schools, number of aided schools, we have 4,172. Almost 30% aided schools we have. Sir. If you see the national average, we have 5%. So since we already have the aided schools, so there was demand was little less. That's why we have there was a delay in implementation. Perhaps that's what I came to understand. Next. So this is the eligibility, sir. There are two categories of people eligible. EWS category. EWS category, Social Welfare Department generally they notify time to time who comes under EWS category. The second category is very important, sir. That is disadvantaged category. In this category, all the orphan children are allowed, are given free education in the private unaided schools. Children belonging to a single parent family and street child living on child with special needs category. A street child living on the street or off the street. HIV affected / infected children. A child who is a victim of any armed conflict and civil commotion, ethnic clashes. Child who is found vulnerable and is likely to be inducted into drug abuse and trafficking, child of a commercial sex worker, a child who has no one to take care of, a child whose parent or guardian is such that is incapable to take care of the child. So this way we have different various categories, sir. And we also have the exclusion category. If the child's parent belongs to government service, we have exempted them. And there is a 2 lakh income, 2 lakh family income, if they belong to that category also, they are exempted. So these are so this is going to be a huge benefit to the children who can get now admission into a good school, a private unaided school, free of cost. Next slide.
I'm really delighted to join with you for the release of the standard operation procedures and the launch of state of Meghalaya website for the implementation of section 12, subclass 1, subclass C of the Right to Education Act 2009. This provision of RTE Act ensures that 25% of the entry level seats in private, unaided, non-minority schools are reserved for children from economically weaker section and socially who are backward. It is a vital step towards the inclusivity, equality, and the fulfillment of every child's constitutional right to education. The SOP provides clarity and uniformity in the implementation, while the new website brings transparency and efficiency. It will also strengthen the partnership between the government and the private schools, making education a shared responsibility and collective mission. This is not just compliance with the law, it is a strategic investment in inclusive growth, social integration, and future of our state of Meghalaya and nation. I commend the educational department and all the stakeholders for this important step. Let us work together to ensure that the spirit of this act is realized in every corner of Meghalaya. Kuble, Mithila, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thanks to all of you.